Hey YouTube, JC here. Decided to do a video just because there's been a million of them. I've never really done too many how-to videos or anything describing much about pipe smoking besides reviews. So I'm just gonna do a quick little thing for newer and seasoned pipe smokers. So just one thing real quick. I'm just gonna go ahead and pack a bowl up. This is one of my favorite tobaccos, Burley Morning Pipe. This is a cob here, obviously. I smoke a lot of cobs, if you've watched any of my videos. I usually just do one little, you see a little handful and just stuff it down in there about quarter or halfway down. Do one more little till it gets about close to the top, and then just a little bit more. And then when I pack mine, some people pack it to where it's like right at the top. I don't do that because what ends up happening is the tobacco rises as you light it, especially under first light. So I just do it right below the top there. And then when you light it, it rises back up. And they call it char light, the beginning light. So you do that. Then you kind of tamp it down a little bit and then light it again. And usually it takes about 3 lights to get it going. So, begin with saying too, everybody has a little bit different technique. And that doesn't mean one way's right or wrong. You have to basically just do what works for you. I mean, it's a lot of trial and error. It really is. And when you first start smoking, you'll be more worried about it than you are after you've been smoking for a while about how you're packing your pipe. Because, honestly, when I first started packing it, or when I first started smoking a pipe, because I was used to cigars, I would usually pack it too tight, and you end up having draw issues and a bunch of different issues with it. You can't really pick up the flavor, or just it would go out a lot. Different things like that. So in my opinion, when you're packing a pipe, it's a lot better to pack it a little loose and then tamp it down afterwards while you're smoking it than it is to pack it really, really tight. Because then if you pack it real tight, a lot of times you got to pull the tobacco out of it or put air hose in it while you're smoking it and constantly mess with it. Pain in the butt to have to do all that. And there we go. It's pretty much lit now. And going to another topic, since we're talking about lighting and packing a bowl, I've had a bunch of people ask this too. How do you keep from having to relight your pipe? Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Because I like to smoke my tobacco on the edge of going out. So I would rather it go out than not go out. Now, another thing, we're talking about lighters here. This is a refillable pipe lighter. Bics are great. I like these because when it's a little windy out, these work really well. You can get the cheap ones. You don't have to necessarily get the real expensive ones. It's up to you. I don't prefer Zippos because I don't like the flavor of Zippos. I've tried Zippos. That's just my personal preference, but Zippos do work really good in the wind if you can stand them. But I really do like these style lighters. This is a Vissel, is what it's called. But I have several of these exact unit models. So brought some notes out here. I'll just be glancing at my notes every now and then. But yeah, about like I said, just to kind of re-sum up what I was saying about packing a pipe and lighting a pipe, you just have to go with what works best for you. But like I said, in my opinion, pack it a little lighter, and then when you start smoking it, if it feels like there's no resistance at all and you're sucking air, just pack it down a little bit more and then light it a little bit and pack it down a little bit more. You can always pack it down tighter, but like I said, it's a lot harder to pack it too tight initially and have to pull it back out. Loose cut, ribbon cut tobacco, like this, you can pack this a lot tighter than you can flakes and different things like that, and plug cut stuff. Flakes you have to pack a lot lighter, so just know that up front when you're packing flake tobacco. All right, well, let's move on. I think I've talked about that enough. So let's talk about the type of tobacco that I smoke and the type of tobacco that you might want to smoke. when I first started off, all I was smoking was pretty much aromatics because that's what they had at the. It was a cigar lounge mainly. Well, not many places have pipe tobacco that are cigar lounges, or know anything about pipe tobacco. There's ones that specialize in like Boswell's, which I love, but not many places do that. So you'll mostly get the like Sutliff or Lane blends, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's the most popular pipe tobacco out there. People love it, but that's what that was when I first started smoking a pipe. It gave me a real bad tongue bite, so it kind of put me off of smoking. So what got me into smoking different tobaccos was we would have pipe meetups. So I went to one of them one night. I was still into the cigars, by the way, real heavy. And I wasn't really into pipes, but a couple of friends I knew were going, so I went there, and they turned me on to a bunch of different types of tobaccos, vapors, Englishes, different things like that. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't burning my tongue. I just thought all tobacco did that, all pipe tobacco did anyways, but it wasn't the case. So certain things, and this is going to kind of branch into tongue bite. I'll talk about that in a second. But as far as different tobaccos, when you first start smoking, try a bunch of different stuff. Don't just try, and even aromatics. All aromatics are not made the same. All Virginia's not made the same. All Burley's not made the same. And I made the mistake of doing that when I first started smoking a pipe. Like, I knew I didn't like Burley's because I tried a couple Burley's, straight Burley's more than anything. And Kentucky's. I wasn't real big on Kentucky's, so I avoided them at all costs pretty much. But now some of my favorite tobaccos have Burley and Kentucky in them. And I mean, some of my favorites of all times, So just because you don't like one Red Virginia or something, or don't like one Burley, doesn't mean you're not going to like them all. So you got to try a bunch of stuff, honestly. I would say try as much as possible and buy as much as possible, because tobacco will never be as cheap as it is today, like at this time, whatever time it is. Nothing is ever going to go down in price. Everything's always going to go up in price. So, just buy a bunch of stuff. Pipe tobacco in the United States anyways is not that expensive. So, you can buy a bunch of it at one time. A lot of places you can buy in bulk, went out samples and stuff. Just try a bunch of stuff. And if you don't like it, I wouldn't toss it away. I would seal it up in mason jars and then wait a couple years and try it again. Then if you don't like it, then maybe that's a different story. But your tastes are going to change. So don't just toss everything out just because you don't like it one time. Try it multiple times and jar it up, and the taste does change and stuff. So, but anyways, let's get to tongue bite. So tongue bite, and this is, I know everybody has their own opinion about it, but this is just my experience over about 10 years of smoking a pipe. And I've been smoking cigars for a lot longer than that. Close to 20, I know. So tongue bite is a chemical burn. So, and the reason I know that is because there's certain tobaccos that give me tongue bite, no matter what pipe you smoke it in, with a filter, without a filter, doesn't matter. Certain tobaccos just give me tongue bite. There's some people that don't get any tongue bite at all whatsoever. There's certain people that get tongue bite with almost anything they smoke. So certain people, filters helps and filters don't help. So you can get filtered pipes. A lot of people recommend the Savinelli filtered pipes. Get those with the filter. Try it out. If you have tobacco that you really, really like, that you want to try with a filter, try it out. It doesn't work for me. Me personally, if there's a tobacco that gives me tongue bite, I just can't smoke it, no matter what. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, but the good thing about it is there's a lot of tobaccos that I really love that don't give me tongue bite. So it is what it is. I'm talking about aromatics. This is one of my favorite aromatics right here. This is an aromatic. I can't smoke 90% of aromatics. I mean, Sutliff, Rattray, even Boswell's. A lot of people say Boswell's don't give you tongue bite. I can't even smoke Boswell's Englishes for some reason. They give me tongue bite. I don't know what it is. It's either some topping or preservative they put on it, the way they make their tobacco, I don't know. Or whoever makes it for them anyways. But that's not saying that it's bad tobacco. It just means it gives me tongue bite. So tongue bite's a chemical burn. So if you start getting tongue bite with a tobacco, I would suggest immediately stop, put it down, and try it in a filtered pipe. And if that doesn't work, it just gives you tongue bite. It sucks, But don't keep smoking it, because if you burn your tongue, to me, if I sit here and keep smoking a tobacco with tongue bite, I'll be screwed for 2 days. For 2 days, I won't really be able to taste much. So just put it down if it gives you tongue bite. Staying up pretty good. And like I said, don't worry about having to relight your pipe. to me, that's part of smoking a pipe. Just the enjoyment of it. I'll talk a little bit more about this just because I wrote it down. As far as tobaccos, like I said, all tobaccos are not the same. And I just want to reiterate that point because when I first started out smoking a pipe, I'm going to have to put something on it so it doesn't blow away. Like I said, I was against kind of Burleys and Kentuckys and all. I thought all aromatics burned my tongue, but evidently I'm finding out that Ken Byron makes a lot of good ones. There's several other ones. I can't remember who makes it, but Sleepy Hollow, that's a really, really good one. Cult Blood Road Moon was, I think, the first aromatic I ever had that it still was a little bit hot and bitey maybe, but it wasn't too bad. Like, it was one of the best aromatics I've ever had at the time, or the best aromatic I had at the time. So I really like that one. I wasn't necessarily big on the cherry per se in that one, but yeah, I found that one. Then after I found that one, I tried other ones and kept branching off from there. So now this is literally one of my favorite tobaccos of all time, not just aromatic. So one of my favorite tobaccos now is an aromatic. But, and like I said, just because you don't like one certain type of tobacco doesn't mean you're not going to like different blends. Like even bright Virginias, red Virginias, they say they're the same, but every one of them is completely different that I've ever had, depending on what topping they use on it, how it's processed, different vintages, where it's grown at. They're all different. So don't just say you don't like Virginias per se. Try a bunch of different ones, and then judge your opinion from there. And also too, like I said, the Kentucky thing, I don't like straight Kentuckys, but when it's blended into something, I really enjoy it. And the way certain manufacturers do it, I enjoy. Lighters. Let's talk about lighters again. Kind of talked about that a little bit at first. This is a butane lighter. It's refillable, and whatever the stuff Zippo uses, I don't really care for that too much. But do not use a torch lighter with a pipe. If you do that, you're just going to tear up your pipe. I mean, you can do it. You can do whatever you want. It's your pipe. You're smoking it. You can do what you want. But like I said, if you do that, you're basically just going to kill a briar pipe. I would suggest if something's that wet, let it sit out for a while. Even in a pipe, sometimes you can let it sit out for a while, even without just sitting there. But if you let it sit out on a piece of paper for 10, 15 minutes, sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes you need an hour or so of drying time. But I wouldn't use a torch. I did that the first pipe I ever got. I used a torch in it because I was used to smoking cigars, and it's screwed up for good now. So I still have it, but it's pretty much charred up for good. So don't use a torch. Talking about different blends, and this is to do with everything, honestly, with pipes. Smoke what kind of pipes you like. Smoke what kind of, like me, I like Cobbs. A lot of people don't like Cobbs. I don't care. I like them. I smoke them. They're cheaper. I'm not as worried about them, even though I really, really love Cobbs. If I lose it, I'm not as heartbroken as I would if I broke or lost a $100, $150 briar pipe. And speaking of briar pipes too, you can get really good hand machine made pipes. Savinelli makes really good ones. Peterson makes good ones. In my opinion, I would stick with those. If you're asking what kind of briar pipe you should get, all the Savinellis and Petersons I love, and they're really, really good pipes for the money. The difference between those and handmade pipes, that's what you're paying the money for. When you're getting handmade pipes, yeah, sometimes the briar can be better, but you're paying the money for somebody's time to sit there and hand make something, or the name, somebody's name. Like when they start, like Nate King, for instance, when he first started making pipes, his pipes were $150, $200. Now they're like over $1,000, $10. And not just him. I'm talking about everybody. The list goes on and on. Once somebody gets notoriety to their name, you're paying for the name more than you are the pipe. And that's not saying it's not worth it. Something's worth whatever somebody will pay for it. But just because you're getting a $100 Savinelli pipe doesn't mean it's not going to be as good as a $1,000 pipe. That's all I'm getting at. And I really love a lot of my $100 or under Savinelli and Peterson pipes, and my $10 Cobbs. But smoke what you want and buy what you want. Smoke, not just the pipes, but I'm talking about the tobacco you want. You know, some people, like I said, all they like is aromatics, and if you get to where that's what you like, smoke that. Don't care about what other people think. Now, yeah, there are going to be certain times, like to me, if I'm out in public or something walking around, I usually smoke something that smells more pleasant. Like my wife usually tells me, "Oh, that kind of smells like crap." Like Acadian Perique is one I really, really enjoy. It's real rich, but she says it smells like manure. She doesn't like the smell of it. So if we're out in public or something, I'll like this, and that's one another reason I love this tobacco. I can smoke this out in public. A lot of Ken Byron's aromatics, they not only burn cool to me, but they have a real good smell and taste to them. So I really enjoy that. And as far as aromatics go, just because they smell a certain way doesn't mean they're going to taste like that. And that's with all tobaccos. I used to really like Englishes, but you know, they when I first started smoking, but now to me, they taste kind of acrid and charred and burnt to me. So I'm not big on a lot of Englishes, but that's just me. But yeah, I mean, you know, don't care about what people think. Don't care about what people say or whatever. Just smoke what you want. You know, I mean, I mean, think about it. Like if you're sitting there smoking something, nobody's going to taste it but you. So, you know, just let people do whatever they want, and you can do what you want. You know, people want to pay astronomical amount of money for getting these esoterica tobaccos that you can't normally get and stuff on the black market or secondary market. That's fine. You know, if they got the money to do it, let them do it. I'm personally not going to do that. Now, if I see a esoterica tobacco that I enjoy that's sitting there on the shelf that I'll buy at retail, I would do that, but that doesn't happen anymore. You know, it's only happened to me once my whole life, and I still have the tobacco actually. But yeah, just you know, it's all trial and error. Basically, is what I'm getting at. You're gonna have to learn how you want to pack a bowl, how you want to smoke a bowl, what tobacco you want to smoke, what your favorite briars are going to be. Sometimes certain tobaccos do better in certain pipes. Like Cobbs, for instance, I like smoking aromatics in Cobbs. Englishes, I like bigger bowls. Virginias, I like longer, like Canadian type stems, but smaller bowls. That's, you know, there is something to that, but that's my preference too. You might be a little different. But one thing I will say, you definitely, if it's a stronger tobacco, smoke it in a smaller bowl. And if it's one that's not strong, then you can smoke it in a bigger bowl and it's not a problem. But if you can handle the nicotine, then hey, more power to you. But I just wanted to put this little video out because people have been asking me a bunch of questions over the years, or really over the past couple months, a lot of the questions I've been getting. So I just wanted to answer a couple. And this is, like I said, not necessarily just for newer pipe smokers, but for seasoned pipe smokers as well. Smoke what you want. And all right, this is JC. Everybody go light up a bowl and enjoy one now. Enjoy your weekend coming up. I know it's not weekend yet, but I'm ready for the weekend because I'm already off work.